Please be seated. St. Andrew's Pipe Band, everybody. Thank you, St. Andrew's Pipe Band. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Sanjay Sharma. I'm the Dean of the Grossman School of Business. And on behalf of the faculty and staff of the Grossman School of Business at UVM, I'm delighted to welcome all of our graduating SI-MBA students and their families and their invited guests to today's celebration. Today, we are recognizing and celebrating the outstanding achievements of our SI-MBA students at the UVM Grossman School of Business. I'm sure everybody knows what SI-MBA stands for. It's not the line. It's Sustainable Innovation MBA program. It gives me great pleasure to congratulate the class of 2021 for reaching this important milestone. I want to extend a special thanks and congratulations to the families and friends and loved ones who have supported our students through this journey. Thank you. So to give you a genesis of the program, about 10 years ago, the faculty at the Grossman School of Business established a focus and a vision to prepare all students to become successful, responsible managers in an ever-changing, complex, global, multi-stakeholder, and sustainable business environment. And we set out to educate business leaders for the future. The SI-MBA program was born out of this vision. The program was designed to inaugurate a new era of innovation and entrepreneurship and to address major sustainability and societal challenges via profitable business models. The SI-MBA program was designed to be unique and distinctive, and it truly is. It's the only such program of its kind in the world. It was designed not just to be world-class, but to be the best such program in the world. And this vision has been realized. For 3 years in a row, this program has been ranked #1 Green MBA program by Princeton Review in the US, and amongst the top 5 in the world by Corporate Knights ranking of better world MBA programs. In addition to a long list of awards and accolades that this program has garnered during its existence, it has also won the grand prize in the Page competition for embedding sustainability in education, and this prize is awarded annually by the Moore School of Business at University of South Carolina. Not just the SI-MBA program, but the Grossman School of Business was rated as one of the top 9 business schools in the world and one of the top 3 in the US for its positive societal impact in the first ever positive impact rating, which was released at the World Economic Forum at Davos in January 2020. And this rating was repeated again in 2021, although the World Economic Forum was virtual and not physical in 2021. And the school was recognized once again as one of the top level 4 transforming schools in the world. The school is also ranked amongst the top 50 most innovative business schools in the US by Business Management Degree. Many of the business school faculty, and some of them are present here, provided major input into this great program and have worked tirelessly to raise the level of the program to its aspired goal of becoming the #1 MBA program in the world focused on sustainable business. All the faculty have developed new courses, new materials, new cases for this innovative program. So the education you received at the Grossman School of Business will help you accomplish great things. You are now poised at the threshold of new challenges and new opportunities. We encourage you to be ambitious, creative, and compassionate. And compassion is really important at this time When you think about the pain and suffering around the world, we are very fortunate in Vermont in terms of the rate of vaccination and the spread of virus, but you think about many countries around the world where the pain and suffering and the social displacement and the societal impacts are huge. And so compassion is important today, but compassion is very important in the future, and I know this is a part of your DNA as students. Continue to challenge yourself and others and share your knowledge with those around you and empower those in need. And also take the time to be grateful to your families and friends who helped you get to this point in today's journey. Treasure today's inauguration as a celebration of your hard efforts and the launch of your role in a new era for business. On behalf of the faculty and staff at the UVM Grossman School of Business, I wish you much success and good health. I want to introduce the directors of the program. The academic director of the program, Chuck Schnitzlein, is the Stephen Grossman Endowed Chair in Finance. Professor Schnitzlein joined the faculty of the University of Vermont in 2014. Previously, he held faculty positions at the University of Central Florida, University of Arizona, and University of Miami. You can see a theme here in terms of the weather and the global warming and the move up north. He has also taught in the Executive MBA program at the University of Illinois. He earned his PhD in finance from the Washington University of St. Louis. The Sustainable Innovation MBA program director, Carolyn Hauser, joined the school in fall of 2019. She is a 2016 graduate of the SI-MBA program. She previously worked as the associate director at a European-based emerging and frontier market asset manager, focusing on links between sovereign debt investing and sustainable development. Her work experience also includes managing a nonprofit addressing food insecurity in New Orleans and recruiting and HR for a high-growth tech company in Chicago. So I will invite Carolyn Hauser to continue the proceedings. Caroline.
Thank you, Dean Sharma, and welcome to all who are here with us to celebrate today, both in person and virtually. A reminder for those who are in this space to please wear your masks for the duration of the ceremony. I'd like to take a moment to highlight a selection of the countless achievements over the last year by this talented group. As a part of our impact investing track, nearly half of the class participated as a team member or auditor for the Total Impact Portfolio Challenge, or TIPSY, and the MBA Impact Investing Network and Training, or MINT, competitions. Thank you to Chuck and to Karn for coaching those teams. And thank you to Alicia and Melina, who acted as team members and project managers. In the Solid Waste Association of North America, or SWANA case competition, a global competition centered around solving complex waste management issues, Aiden, Cecilia, Chandler, Josh, and Robbie won the overall competition, and they also won Best Presentation. In the Family Enterprise Case competition, the SI-MBA team received an honor certificate as a top scoring team, and Anna received a Best Presenter award in their division. I have a few more, so we can hold the applause till the end and then do a big one at the end. At the Launch VT pitch competition, Apollon and his wife Nora won the Audience Choice Award for pitching Lost Lantern, the whiskey company they founded together. Another group of students with a passion for regenerative agriculture started up a group who met regularly and explored the cost barriers to regenerative ag in Vermont. Their willingness to take on extra research amidst the intensity of this program is admirable. Thank you to Sierra, Leonard, and Delaney, who were elected as class representatives to collaborate with SI-MBA leadership and work on program improvements throughout the year. We are grateful for your time, energy, and feedback. I also want to recognize the Community Action Team, a subgroup of the Sustainability and Social Justice Collective founded this year, who organized to promote change in the local Vermont community. Their work included a presentation of research to Burlington City Council, encouraging the passage of a weatherization mandate for rental buildings. And a special shout out to someone who quite literally kept the program running all year, given the many challenges of a hybrid virtual and in-person environment. Robbie went above and beyond as classroom producer to ensure things ran smoothly day to day. So let's give him a round of applause. Now, I know I've barely scratched the surface of the many impressive accomplishments of this group over such a short and challenging 12 months. Congratulations to each one of you for all that you've achieved. When you chose to attend UVM for a Sustainable Innovation MBA, you chose an unconventional path. You are here because you know that the old ways of doing business are no longer serving humanity, and you believe that we can rebuild systems to better meet the needs of people and the planet. You chose SI-MBA because you wanted to dedicate your career to making a world that works for all people, not just those at the top. 1 year ago, you may have come to the first day of orientation thinking that by graduation, that you'd have all of the answers. You'd have a detailed roadmap to go out and disrupt business as usual. You might have imagined that you'd be given formulas to come up with solutions that would solve the world's most pressing problems. As you've likely discovered by now, there's no roadmap and no formula for building a sustainable business. And while it's comforting to feel the certainty of a right answer, the answer to most tough questions will be, it depends. It depends on industry and policy and geography. It depends on people and incentives and culture. The transformation we need is going to take fierce collaboration and deep systemic change. It's going to take years of dedication and hard work, and the world we seek is likely not attainable within our lifetimes. But that doesn't mean that we should stop working towards it. This year has been hard. Take time to rest and to celebrate. You deserve it. But know that the real work begins now. That's why we call this day Inauguration. The world needs leaders with your skills and mindset now more than ever. Business can no longer ignore the ways in which it is complicit in growing inequality, institutional racism, climate change, and environmental degradation. And those that benefit from the status quo will tell you that your idea of a better world is unattainable. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Keep hope in your heart that we have the power to build a more equitable, inclusive, and resilient world, and stay humble and inspired by the breadth and depth of what you have left to learn. In the words of my favorite fictional leadership guru, Ted Lasso, be curious, not judgmental. Congratulations to the class of 2021. I'm excited about what lies ahead for each one of you. And now I will pass the mic along to our academic director for an inauguration Chuck Chat.
This will be a bit different from the typical Chuck Chat. If you want the financial and economic update, you'll have to catch me at the reception. I wanted to share a few thoughts about the past year because it's been a year unlike any other. And also I wrote down some comments, which I don't normally do, but Caroline told me I only have 5 minutes, and then she's pulling the plug. So I thought I better be as organized as possible in my thoughts. I think I've already used 30 seconds. Can I have 5 minutes and 30 seconds? Okay.
You're wasting time.
Okay. Last August, we welcomed you to SI-MBA under tremendous uncertainty. We had just adapted to a new world of online teaching in the spring, some of us doing it better than others. I certainly fumbled quite a bit. With frequency last summer, as our understanding of the pandemic and its path evolved, our plans for everything from orientation to the delivery of every aspect of the program also evolved. I'm grateful to be part of such a dedicated and talented team, but you already know that Caroline and Liz are exactly those things. You may not be aware of the important work that Heather and Linda have done behind the scenes to make everything work, and I thank them for helping us make this year a success. Despite the many obstacles, knowing that the biggest and most deadly wave was yet to come, things went better than the best case scenario that I imagined last August. Normally, when I express satisfaction that everyone has survived our intense program, I'm thinking of academic survival. This year, of course, literal survival was a relevant concern. I want to thank all of you for doing everything you did to make it safe for each other and the faculty to be in the classroom. I know some of my colleagues were advised by their physicians to not teach in person, but our faith in you and our faith in each other was justified, so thank you. Some of our faculty simply could not risk being in the classroom, and I'm grateful for those that went above and beyond in delivering the best online content that they could develop. I came to UVM for the same reason many of you did. I was losing faith that our political institutions, corrupted by the influence of special interests, would be capable of aggressively addressing the growing existential threats, and this was before the election of 2016 and the events of January 6th. Business reimagined with a multi-stakeholder perspective seemed like a necessary condition for progress. When I arrived in 2014 to teach in the first class of this program, I was impressed by the richness of the curriculum. Every year since then, under first the leadership of Willie Katz-Burrill, and then Stu Hart and David Jones, the curriculum has been tweaked and improved to better prepare you to be effective change makers. Carolyn and I have strived to continue that process, and I want to thank you for being so actively involved in helping us co-create the best possible experience for the benefit of you and for the benefit of cohorts to come. I also want to thank those of you who helped design the framework for the new SI-MBA Impact Portfolio, which, thanks to the generosity of Stephen Grossman and Breyer Alpert, is our real money portfolio. Taking a systems approach to creating a portfolio that invests in companies involved in every stage of the electrification of the economy, from the mining of rare earth minerals to the design of efficient consumer products, while maintaining an ESG lens, will distinguish our portfolio from typical ESG portfolios. It will allow for broad diversification and, from a pedagogical perspective, allow for the participation of those with diverse interests. This will be an important part of the program going forward, and I welcome your continued involvement as we develop a formal structure for the participation of our alumni network. Finally, a personal thought. The first time I was moved to tears by a political event, good tears, was when Maya Angelou recited her poem on the pulse of the morning at Bill Clinton's inauguration in 1993. Almost 30 years later, the line from the poem, "History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again," is a reminder of one of the necessary ingredients to being an effective change maker. So I wish you courage, and the courage of your convictions, which I know to be the right ones. Sometimes you will fail because change is hard, but take solace in the fact that you're on the right side of history. Remember to be wise in designing your strategies to implement change, because some who oppose you will be motivated by powerful vested interests, and some will choose to appeal to tired worldviews that are no longer relevant in a world on the threshold of climate disaster and rising inequality that threatens the stability of all of our institutions. We owe posterity our best efforts. Innovate, lead, be resilient, and ambitious in your conception of what is possible. And keep in touch. Congratulations. You've done something hard. You've done something valuable. I'm proud to be associated with you, and I wish you the best of luck. My next task is to introduce our class speaker selected by you, and I'm excited to introduce Apollon. A few words about Apollon for those of you that don't know him. He founded Lost Lantern Whiskey with his wife Nora in 2018 and launched their first whiskeys in October 2020. An independent bottler of American whiskey, Lost Lantern shines a light on unique and distinctive whiskeys from across the United States and releases them as single casks and blends. Before starting the company, Apollon was a writer and senior whiskey specialist for Whiskey Advocate. He has also written for Newsweek, Wine Spectator, Inverse, and others. He came to SI-MBA to learn how to make Lost Lantern into a truly green and sustainable business that can eventually become a leader in the whiskey industry. I know Apollon to have a sharp intelligence and a unique background in the classics, and I personally can't wait to hear his comments.
So glad I could take my mask off. Thank you all. I've always believed in liminal moments, those few times in life when you stand upon a threshold and are about to change from what you have been into what you will be. These are moments of great possibility and great change, when the normal routines of life are broken for a short time and a new and different world of possibility looms before you. This is one of those moments, and that is why this ritual of inauguration is important. Those of us in the University of Vermont's Sustainable Innovation MBA, class of 2021, have all earned our new degrees, but we don't have them yet, not until we come up to this stage, one by one. And until each of us comes up here and accepts our diploma, we are in that liminal space, still students, but not for long, almost graduates, but not quite. We stand at the doorway to a new phase in our lives, and this is a time to reflect on what came before and what is to come. It's my great honor and privilege to be class speaker, and I'm deeply moved to have been elected. I'm excited that, unlike the practicum presentation, I'm not going to get buzzed or air horned if I go a little too long. I came to the Sustainable Innovation MBA looking for answers. I wanted to know how I could help change the world, to become part of the solution instead of part of the problem, and I know I'm not the only one. And as class speaker, it's my privilege and honor to finally answer once and for all a question we have returned to over and over again this year. What is sustainability? And the answer, the final word on the subject, as Carolyn said, is it depends. Yucks aside, there's a reason we didn't and couldn't get a firm answer to this question. Sustainability means something a little different to every one of us. If I asked all of us, if you could change one thing to make the world a better place, what would it be? We'd have 40 different answers, probably more. Some of us want to pour our passion into fighting climate change, others to protecting life on Earth and in the oceans, others into the fight for social justice, the fight against systemic racism and sexism, and the fight for a transformation in how businesses at the very top of the economic pyramid treat the human beings at the bottom. But the truth is, I think it's a great thing that we all have different priorities, because we may not agree on what single thing is most important, but there's one thing we do all agree on. There's a lot more than one thing in the world that we have to change. All of these things need to happen. All of these problems need to be solved, and none of them will be solved by half measures. They can only be solved by people who truly dedicate their careers to working toward real, lasting, and transformative change. But I think there's another reason we're coming out with so many unanswered questions. What does a truly sustainable world look like? A truly sustainable economy, or even just a truly sustainable company? I think the real answer is no one knows yet. These answers are yet to be written. We are only part of the way toward that sustainable future, continually pushing onward and getting better and coming up with answers as we go. And part of our job is to blaze that trail, to help find some of those answers over the years to come. That's the real value of the Sustainable Innovation MBA. It didn't give us the right answers. It was never going to. It gave us the right questions. It gave us the tools we need to build off the groundwork that had already been laid and work toward creating a better world, even when we can't see exactly what that looks like yet. I don't have to tell you all that the challenges of building a fairer and healthier world are incredibly steep. We will all likely be asked to do things that have never been done before, things that companies have never even really thought about. In fact, some of us have already seen this in our practicum work. But just because something has never been done doesn't mean that it can't be done. I heard for years that solar energy would never be economically viable, and now it's cheaper than coal. Electric cars could never compete, and soon they'll be ubiquitous. Once, the very idea of a zero-waste product or company didn't exist. It was almost a joke, and now more and more companies are striving for that goal. Those things that today still seem impossible will someday be inevitable. And I'm not talking about technology, which is just a tool, not a magic wand, and it's not enough on its own. That's where we come in. Whether we're working in Vermont or at home or on a national or global scale, we will be the people who shape organizations away from old ways of thinking, old paradigms that benefit the few while turning a blind eye to the harm they cause. That's why it's so important that we keep what we've done this year close to our hearts. What we learned is just the tip of the iceberg, the beginning of our journeys. Yet as we grow into our careers, I hope we each strive to become a new and different kind of leader than we've seen before. For too long, Americans with fancy degrees have gone out into the rest of the world thinking that they know all the answers and told others that they knew best. As Anand Giridharadas says in Winners Take All, the people who are trying to solve the world's biggest problems are often the same type of people who created those problems in the first place. They use the same old playbook that built the world we live in to try to clean up the mess they created, and it doesn't work. That's why I'm glad that we don't feel like we have all the answers. Over the course of this year, I've seen that we, as a group, approach problems with humility, not with bravado and arrogance. We ask ourselves what we don't know, and why we have the perspective that we have, and what it looks like for others. I hope that we all strive to keep this spirit of humility. Let us be facilitators who bring people together. Let's work to embrace that there are many different ways of thinking, and ours is not always the correct one. And let's make sure we're always thinking about who's being left out of the conversation. As Senator Elizabeth Warren said, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu. This is a tall order, but we can do this. We're not people who shrink from tough situations. I mean, look at us. Every single one of us chose to go to graduate school during the worst pandemic in 100 years. This took courage, comfort with risk, acceptance of uncertainty, exactly the skills we need in the future. And it made us a unique cohort because we chose this, knowing that the challenges of the world would not go away just because the world shut down for a year. But for all we've gone through to get here, in many ways, we're the fortunate ones. We made sacrifices and took financial and personal risks to be here, but we were able to make those sacrifices. There are many, many others who could not take a year off work to study sustainability in Vermont and invest in themselves like we have. Most people's lived experience of the pandemic has been very different than ours. But that doesn't mean it has been easy for us. The last year has been like no other. Some of us have lost loved ones, lives have been upended, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who has sometimes struggled over the past year. But we did it, and here we are. I have to admit, I really hoped I could say, here we are without masks. I can say that. Yet here we are, at the end of the road and the beginning. I can't wait to see over the years to come the winding paths that we all take. And I hope to see all of us find happiness, stability, a job, and a life that brings each of us meaning and fulfillment, because that is deeply important as well. I know all of us want to make the world a better, kinder place, and we will, each in our own way. But I hope we can also treat ourselves with kindness and build lives that help us live in accordance with our values. From here, we'll scatter to the four winds. We'll face many challenges and find many joys in the years to come in our careers and in our lives. But let's set all that aside for today. Let's give ourselves permission to just be present in this moment as we come up to the stage. For today, on this special day, let's let the worries and wonders of tomorrow wait until tomorrow. Because we did it. We're here. We're graduating literally right now. And today is a day to celebrate. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to announce a few awards to students and faculty. It's challenging because, as you know, all of our students are above average and all of our faculty are superb. Nevertheless, I first want to announce the Malcolm Severance Award. Malcolm Severance, you may not know, set the business school on the path toward excellence. When in the 1980s, he actually created a separate business department and then was instrumental in creating the business school. All the accomplishments, the way that Sanjay has taken the program to unprecedented heights would not have been possible with those first steps. The Malcolm Severance Award goes to the student with the highest GPA over the course of the year. And I'm proud to announce the recipient of that award is Melina Laura Harris. And I'd like to note I've worked with Melina closely over the year on the Tipsy competition, on the creation of the impact portfolio. She has an exquisite intelligence. She has a passion for social justice that's unmatched. And if you've ever heard her sing, she's got a hell of a voice. So Melina, please come up and receive your... Okay, and next we've, the class has typically selected their most impactful professor. And this year we decided that since adjuncts are such an important part of the program, that we wanted to add a second award for not only the Faculty Year Award for the full-time professor, but also for the adjunct. It's probably no surprise that the Faculty of the Year for full-time faculty goes to Srini, who has really created an unbelievable platform for learning, and I have learned things from him. I'm so proud to have him as a colleague. The voting for the most impactful adjunct was, you really hold many of our adjuncts in very high esteem. It was very close. The winner of the award was Mike Dupy, and the thing that was notable about the comments was how you appreciated the way he pushed you, he challenged you, he forced you to stretch, and that reflects on you, that this is something that you strive for. You appreciate the fact that he, in fact, asked you to go further than you had gone before. Neither Mike nor Srini could be here today. We would give them a very nice plaque if they had been here, but they're not. But again, I'm so grateful to all of our faculty and to all of our adjuncts who did an exceptional job to make this program what it is.
Thank you, Chuck. And congratulations to Melina, to Srini, and to Mike. Now I'd like to introduce you to our Beta Gamma Sigma speaker for today's inauguration. We have two speakers today, both of whom are graduates of the University of Vermont. I forgot I could take my mask off. Ted Castle incorporated Rhino Foods with his wife Ann in 1981. They opened an ice cream shop while Ted was assistant hockey coach at UVM. In 1991, Rhino partnered with Ben & Jerry's to invent the new flavor sensation, cookie dough ice cream. The company is now the #1 producer of cookie dough inclusions for ice cream. Castle's passion is to create positive social change through business. His company emphasizes long-term financial health by investing in its customers, employees, and community. In 2019, Ted and Ann founded the Rhino Foods Foundation with a mission to develop and promote financial security programs for employees that make good business sense. We are lucky to have Ted as a supporter and friend of the SIMBA program. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hello. Whoa, Royal Tyler Theater. Woo, so cool. I'm a 69-year-old white male. I grew up in generational middle class, probably closer to wealth in my family. My parents were amazing, and they supported me throughout my career and everything I did. My whiteness provided me advantages that white supremacist systems have in America. I was able to take risks with my family, my career, my business, knowing I always had a safety net behind me. In other words, I had most of the boxes for white privilege checked next to my name. So why is this important to start this off? And I wanted to share this with you because I've worked hard to work and get the accomplishments I have for myself, our business, and my family. At the same time, it's important to recognize what my eldest son said to me about 5 to 7 years ago when I started to dig into privilege and white supremacy and racism. And he said, Dad, you do need to realize you've had your wind at your back most of your life. I didn't like it when he said it, but I agreed with him. So I really want to thank the Grossman School of Business to have me here today. Dean Sharma, thank you very much, and all the faculty and staff. You've been like super kind to invite me here. So what does a guy like me tell these folks that are like super smart and all that? I've decided I've got 3 objectives for you today. You ready? Okay, they listen. I love these guys who listen. I'm here to make you happier. See if that works. I'm here to help you think about designing your own life. And lastly, I want to help you understand the power of vulnerability as a leader. So how am I going to do this? Quite frankly, I don't know a lot about this, so I go to 3 experts that I've been actually digging into for at least 5 to 7 years. And the first one is Laurie Santos, a professor at Yale. How many people in the room have seen Laurie's online course on happiness? Only 3.5 million people have taken that in the past year. Design your life, how to design your life or how to design your business life, and also watching TED Talks. So the first one is Laurie Santos. As I said, she's a professor at Yale, and she started to notice all these really bright, high-achieving people were bummed out a lot. They had high anxiety, and they actually were depressed. So she said, what am I going to do about this? So she really spent her time studying this, and she dug into this, and her research says, these are 7 things that will make you happier. Now, I know these are going to sound really sort of simple and stupid, but they're sort of day-to-day things. The first one is talk to a stranger. Make social contact. Meditate. Take your mind off. Just have a quiet time in the day. Limit your choices. Focus less on the rewards. Call a friend. Be grateful 3 times a day. And get lots of sleep. So, sounds really silly, but trust me, she's really smart too. She's done a lot of research, and she said these really work. I believe one thing I've learned as you mature is I used to be pretty competitive and very much about rewards. And right now I feel like that's sort of behind me, and I really focus on the how, less about the what. So I'd really encourage you to feel like, what got you here today? What made you successful and graduate? And congratulations on the graduation, and you deserve it. But I'd like you to focus on the how, because what you achieve sort of ends, and you have to start again. So that really is my mantra for you today. It's a great accomplishment, but think about the why. And then I'm going to tell you to think about the 7. And think about one you might want to try. You ready? Talk to a stranger. Meditate. Limit your choices. Less focus on the rewards. Call a friend. Be grateful. Get lots of sleep. Hey, who knows? Maybe you'll be happier. Okay? It's a weird word like You're supposed to be happy all the time. The next one is Designing Your Life, and there's a great book by two Stanford professors, and they also came out with another book about how to design your work life. And really it's about how can you design your life so you're more personally driven, you're really in charge of it. I read that book and it's really great because it gives you all this myths that you have to get rid of. And one of them is, when you graduate from college or maybe an MBA, that's gonna be the career you think you're gonna be in 10 years from now. And they have all kinds of statistics that 80% of people at all ages are not doing what they thought they would be doing when they were younger. So I'd like you to reframe it, and really their reframing is this. You've actually heard these words throughout the first few talks. The first one is be curious. The second one is try some stuff. The third one is do not get stuck. Mistakes are okay, and ask for help. Again, sounds pretty simple, but what will happen, you get into the day-to-day grind of everything you're doing, and these simple things sometimes fall away. If you get this book, you actually have a guide to help you sort of take a little bit of a journal and try to look at your life. I actually did this as I was transitioning out of my business to try to think about what does my life look like as I transition out of Rhino. What I've learned about being curious, trying some stuff and not getting stuck is really that's what Rhino was all about for me. You know, I came here in the 70s. Business was not cool. We were not supposed to be we were like hippies back then. You guys know what hippies are, right? Okay. And really, when I didn't get the head coaching job at UVM, I had to go work for my wife at this little tiny ice cream store. And that really sort of stunk. But what really worked for me was I started to realize what I liked about business. And that was actually putting a team together, really working hard, setting high expectations, and trying to be a great company. And so what my passion now is, now that I'm 69, is business. Our purpose that we created 25 years ago at Rhino was to impact the manner in which business is done. So that's really what turns me on every day. It's not how much money we make, how much cookie dough we sell. It's really about changing the world of business. And that's why we're a certified B Corp. So I really would ask you guys to think about that. I'd ask you students to think about that, and I'd ask family and friends to think about how you can support this type of mentality. Because it usually comes around during pivots, right? You're pivoting. You think you know what you're supposed to do, but really what you're supposed to do is now be curious. You're supposed to try some stuff. You're trying to not get stuck. So it's going to take everybody's help in this room to help these folks be successful. The last one is the power of vulnerability. So how many people have seen Brené Brown's TED Talk? Well, I looked it up before I came. 54,485,433 people as of yesterday. So something must be good about vulnerability. So this is what Brené says. These aren't necessarily my words, but I actually pick out what I think I agree with her. Vulnerability really means being able to be seen as who you are. You have to be authentic to yourself, and you need to be willing to be open to others. She also talks about what makes some people good at this. Some people have a real strong sense of worthiness. Their wholehearted worthiness about themselves. They have the courage to be imperfect. They're kind to themselves so they can be kind to others. They're willing to let go of who they should be. So why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for like you guys, like super smart, achieving people? I put you like in this box because I could never be here. Is because you like to see yourself in a certain way. It's because you maybe don't look at your whole self and decide what's really important to you. I'd ask you to practice gratitude and joy, and I want you to believe that there is such a thing as enough. I bring this up today really because I fortunately feel like vulnerability was something that became easier to me I don't know when, but it became easier to me as I started to have more people at Rhino and understand leadership. I really promise you that to be a strong leader, you need to be vulnerable. You really, really do. You're going to be amazed how it opens doors for people around you and how they'll respect you. You'll be more impactful to the community if you understand the power of vulnerability. So I know you're all super smart, you're super driven, but I ask you to make smart decisions after having such a great opportunity to graduate from such an amazing program as the SI-MBA program. I hope that you do check some of those experts, you know. Go home and look at these three people. Lori Santos, this book by Design Your Life, Design Your Work Life, and Brené Brown. So, I need your help, this group right here. You ready to help me? This is the finale. This is it, okay? I need your help. We want to go out big here. So, I'm going to ask you, because one of the things that wasn't in my list here is gratitude. We heard gratitude, right? Dean Sharma talked about gratitude. I'm a big believer in gratitude. That's how you get through the day. I was actually using that thing during COVID. 3 times a day, I'd try to think about what am I grateful for. It was actually pretty easy to come up with 3. So, you students or graduates or whatever you call yourselves, I'm going to ask you to take 20 seconds. You know, close your eyes. It's going to be sort of cool. Nobody sees you because you're all facing me. I'm the only one. And I want you to think about what you're grateful for. It's either a person or a friend that helped you get to where you are today. So you got 20 seconds. You ready? Go. Okay, thank you. And I'd like you now, so what we have to do to help people do things they don't always do. If you believe that before you go to sleep tonight, you will tell that person, that friend, or that group of people why you have gratitude, why you appreciate what they did, please raise your hand if you're willing to do that. Promise me. Do we got everybody in? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted, for those inspiring words. I'd like to actually invite you back up to the podium to introduce our second speaker.
Best song and dance here, but it's well orchestrated. Caitlin Sternman, gosh, you guys, get ready. Yoo-hoo! She's going to crush it. Caitlin has been at Rhino for 4 years. If you talk about innovation, like what describes Caitlin? Innovation. She's a tireless worker. She goes hard for what she wants, and she helps people move in different directions that they ever could imagine. So what she did for Rhino is like going to be epic. She's been at Rhino for 4 years. I'm really mad. I'll come right out and say it. She's got the top job at Middlebury College of People and Culture. Okay, but I honestly, that's a bummer. But we've got about 10 years to try to develop the programs that Caitlin has created for us, and super grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. So I've been listening to a podcast, maybe something you all have been doing during your year at SI-MBA. I know I certainly did a lot of that. So I've been listening to this podcast recently, and the host starts out by asking each guest a really predictable question about their bio and their career accomplishments. Okay, that's fine. But then what was interesting is that she follows it up with something a little bit different. She asks, is there anything else about your identity that you'd like to share with our listeners before we get started? The question got me thinking. I like it because it creates space for each person to show up as they are. It invites one to be authentic, to slow down, to bring their whole self and experience into the conversation that's so usually focused on kind of your tactical career progression. So Maybe because Ted on a daily basis challenges me to be vulnerable, I'll try and do that here today. I'll share my own answer to that question with 3 things that you won't find in my LinkedIn bio. First, I'm a new mom, and I'm often unsure of how to navigate this role with grace. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I came to SI-MBA thinking and being convinced that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and nothing I came up with made it out of Professor Monson's class. And I feel in so many ways distinctly influenced by 2 places and cultures, Vermont and China. More on all that later. As we learn from base of the pyramid case studies, knowledge of what motivates a person, what they're challenged by, what is important to them, all of these things make you better able to serve a customer, support a colleague, or elevate an idea. So in thinking about what would make sense to share with you today, I look to these less obvious areas of my identity that impact how I show up every day. First, build the plane as you fly it. So as a parent of a 2-year-old, let's be honest, there's lots of figuring stuff out as you go and just relying on some kind of gut instinct. Anybody with me? Okay. Maybe similarly, when faced with a big challenge, taking small steps to iterate, build, and pilot as you go can help to get going and de-risk a situation. I'm deeply proud of the work that we've done at Rhino on inclusive hiring to remove barriers to employment for marginalized folks in our community. This initiative is the product of learning along the way, building from the ground up, and not being afraid to get started, and also having a great CEO that was willing to say yes to a really crazy idea. The team adjusts every time we encounter a chance to make it just a little bit better, and we approach it every day also knowing that we have a lot to learn and figure out. Part of what I believe makes something like this successful is alignment that it doesn't have to be perfect at the start, but rather that collectively you're working towards turning the dial a little bit each time to deliver a little bit more impact. Second, ask for input and center employee voices. While at SI-MBA, I had this kind of half thought through business idea. Sound familiar to anybody? A few of those floating around. That had to do with composting. And as I workshopped it and tried to hone in on what I really was trying to talk about, I kept getting questions from peers and professors alike. They kept asking me, do you know anything about composting? The answer was always no. No, I know absolutely nothing about this. Their input was really clear and really helpful. Focus on what you do know, or at least go figure out the answers from somebody who does. So it turns out that I realized I knew a little bit more about people strategy and was also, maybe not surprisingly, more energized by this kind of work. As I've worked to push for people-first culture, for me, it's always been about inviting and elevating more voices into the conversation and sourcing ideas across an organization. This is something that's so fundamental in the SI-MBA curriculum, but outside of Calcin 110, or maybe you're in another classroom these days and I'm really dating myself, this is something that's often forgotten and so critically important. Remember to do this even when it's easier not to, even when everyone else isn't focused on it, and create space for diverse perspectives that make our communities and our solutions stronger and more resilient. Third, seek out opportunities where you have lots to learn. When I moved to China as an undergraduate and then again to live and work, each time it felt kind of like jumping into a complete unknown with only one thing that was clear, that I'd have to double down in a serious way, like figuring out how to speak the language, to figure out how to survive. When I returned to Vermont to attend SI-MBA, I was focused on mastering a balance sheet and also in rerouting myself in the place I had grown up. The latter challenge was in learning about the strength of this rural community that was far more multidimensional than I imagined it to be or understood it to be as a kid. When I took on my current role at Rhino after SI-MBA, I had tons to learn. You heard from Ted a little bit about his approach, and I was really excited to dig in and ramp up a big learning curve. And as bittersweet as it is to step back from my work at Rhino, my next role at Middlebury is one that I believe will bring challenge and learning along with it as well. It feels, again, like jumping, and I'm humbled and grateful for the opportunity to keep learning. So I appreciate this podcast question because it challenged me to show up in a more authentic way, in connecting areas of my identity to what I find useful in showing up as a leader. I hope I've shared a few ideas that may be helpful for you to think of as you navigate what's ahead and what's next for you. I came to SI-MBA, perhaps like so many of you, with this idea to be intentional about doing business in a way that is durable, impactful, and restorative. During my time at SI-MBA, what this looked like in reality was really hard to imagine most days. Was I not supposed to admit that? I'm grateful to Ted for the opportunity to be part of an organization like Rhino, where I could learn from one of the greats who's done this work far before many others, when there weren't things like B Corp and before everybody else was talking about triple bottom line. We all, inevitably, have insecurity and uncertainty as we step into leadership roles and across so many dimensions of our lives. Today, for me, it's manifesting in the fact that I'm still a little bit baffled that they're letting me talk on the same stage as Ted, who truly embodies what it means to be an authentic, values-led, visionary leader. But for me, the antidote to that feeling is showing up with nothing to hide and encouraging all of you to do the same. So next time you have the opportunity, ask what other aspects of somebody's identity are important to them. What they say may challenge you to get started, unlock insights, and create new learning. And remember, too, that you might be surprised and interested in learning your own answer.
Hello, everyone. We're almost there, promise. My name's Barbara Rell. I'm the president of the UVM chapter of Beta Gamma Sigma. Beta Gamma Sigma is the International Business Honor Society, which recognizes and honors top-performing business school students from around the world. Students who demonstrate an outstanding aptitude for business studies, along with a strong work ethic and determination, are invited to join. Membership in the society is the highest honor a business student attending an AACSB accredited institution can achieve. Beta Gamma Sigma is founded on a set of 3 principles which serve as pillars for everything the society does. Each principle is represented by a Greek word that coincides with the initials of our society. I'd like to share these principles with you now. Beta is the initial letter of the Greek word babios, which signifies honor. Honor is defined as personal integrity as well as excellence of character. It is a prerequisite for those who lead others. It also encourages altruism and enlightened social responsibility and service. Gamma is the initial letter of the Greek word gnosis, which signifies wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge, tested by experience and tempered by discerning judgment. It avoids prejudice and insists on freedom of thought and expression. Those who are wise seek a better comprehension and a more fruitful application of what is known. They engage in a continuous quest for understanding. Sigma is the initial letter of the Greek word spude, which signifies earnestness. Earnestness is enthusiasm, measured by achievement, reason, and sincerity. It is that dynamic quality which is essential for all great achievements. Individuals who reflect earnestness inspire confidence, invite action, and generate progress. The symbol of Beta Gamma Sigma is the key. This symbol also represents our ideals of honor, wisdom, and earnestness, and is inscribed with the Greek letters which represent the society's name. We ask that all members who wear this key do so with our principles in mind. Now that the principles and symbols of our society have been shared, it's my honor to invite the following candidates to join the UVM chapter of Beta Gamma Sigma. Dean Sharma will present you with the certificate of membership, and Professor Schnitzlein will give you the key lapel pin to outwardly symbolize your membership. So please come forward when I read your name. Anna Deckert, sorry. Sienna Gregg. Sienna Gregg. Melina Harris. Chandler Jacobson. Robbie Mingay. Avalon. Jack Porterfield. Ryan Dean Rachelson. I don't think he could be here today. Leonard Schudio. And Sarah Wasson. Please join me in congratulating the newest members of the UVM chapter of Beta Gamma Sigma. Every year, our chapter has an opportunity to nominate local entrepreneurs, local businessmen, and people that work with our society, and we're happy that Caitlin will come back to the podium to present an award for us.
The Beta Gamma Sigma Entrepreneurial Achievement Award provides national and I think international recognition to individuals who develop, organize, and enhance successful ventures. Recipients of this signature honor have assumed the risk of starting a business or initiating a new venture, an idea within a larger organization. The intent is to focus on entrepreneurs who drive innovation, are an economic engine, and support new ideas. As shared, each chapter is able to nominate entrepreneurs based on key criteria around doing these important acts of creating successful business ventures or social entrepreneurship, and also exemplifying the ethical values of the Beta Gamma Sigma Society. So it's my honor to present this award to Ted. It's kind of the Caitlin and Ted show here. Ted, congratulations on receiving this enormous honor. I'll share a little bit of a story with you. Ted is ever the humble leader, and thinks, you heard him talk about he could never be in the shoes of SI-MBA grads, but he just kind of lives into this idea of kind of leading with such humility. He came to my office after winning this award and said, yeah, I think they give it out to lots of people, and it's not that big of a deal, and we've worked hard to let him know it actually is a very, very, very big deal, Ted. This is a national recognition, and as I was looking through the folks who have won this award previously, there's people like Kevin Plank, the chairman and CEO of Under Armour. There's Blake Mykoski, who you might recognize as the founder and chief shoe giver of Tom's Shoes. So Ted, you are in the good company and the very well-deserved company of great entrepreneurs, and I'll congratulate you on your award along with the rest of the Beta Gamma Sigma community.
Pose, let's pose on the spot. This is going to be super short, so don't worry. I want to thank you very much. This is like, Caitlin did impress me with like, okay, you got to realize this is a big deal. So thank you very much, the Grossman School of Business, for nominating me. And the one thing I think about awards is that I actually love awards. Remember I told you guys, like, no, I actually do like them. But what I like about them is when they recognize something you've been striving for. So I think it's really cool that the B Corp community, B Corp's mission is a business is a force for good, is being recognized as this is what it takes to be a great entrepreneur. This is what it takes to be a great business. So for me, it's an honor to what we're working hard to do. It's an honor to all the Rhino folks. And we have a brand position at Rhino called Do Right. And Do Right really to me means do right because it's the right thing to do. So thank you very much.
Congratulations again. Okay, this is the time we've been waiting for. We're going to begin the recognition of the students from the Sustainable Innovation MBA class of 2021 who have completed the requirements of the program. So I'm going to read the names of each of the graduates. Please come forward to accept your diploma and for a picture, of course. So we'll start right at the front. Jessica Brooke Avison. Kevin Baranello. Sierra Ann Barton. Delaney Shea Bro. Aiden Breen. Sylvie Alexandra Catalano. Robin K. Cornell. John Sawyer Cutler. Anna Deckard. Andrew Bubby Donahue. James Raymond Franzno. Kelsey Gibb. Cecilia M. Giordano. Sienna Gray. Melina Laura Harris. Colin J. Healy. Chandler Reed Jacobson. Joshua Kenyon. Senya Crosby Kling. Adam Patrick Lachlan. Casey Merbler. Robbie Mingay. Jason A. Nashami. Jackie Nutter. Arel Oberlander. Sean O'Brien. Apollon. Jack Porterfield. Ryan Dean Rachelson. Alicia Isabel Rodriguez Torres. Lane Catherine Rooney. Leonard Francis Hastings Schlier. Luke Ryder Shea. Jenna Spooner. Paulina Stromquist. Megan Van Stry. Rose Kenna Wall. Liz Wallace. And Sarah Wasson. Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Congratulations. Wow. This has been an intense year. And you kept each other safe. It's amazing how we got through this year. You know, we weren't sure what would happen at the beginning of the year. We got through it. And thanks to you, you kept each other safe. And we were able to complete this program, we were able to complete this class, and you did it in style. So congratulations again. Today, you join an exclusive group of UVM alumni of the highest caliber and blaze an innovative path as graduates of a world-renowned and exclusive SI-MBA program. Our alumni play an important part in the student academic experience and success via their continuing engagement and involvement with future classes. And you see an example of that today with Carolyn and Caitlin, you know, being engaged with the program, and I'm sure many more are going to be back and engaged with the program. I hope you too will stay engaged and involved and connected with us. And as Chuck said, please keep in touch. You know, we still use the phone. Email us, text us, you know, contact us on Facebook. I prefer LinkedIn personally. Tweet us, you know, or whatever, you know, technology is in force, but stay in touch. And let us know how you're doing. Tell us about your successes. Tell us how we can support you. And give us your advice on how we can continue to improve the program. And that has been integral. You were engaged in, and as Caitlin said, you know, invent the plane as you buy it. So you were engaged in helping us improve the program. And even as alumni, you know, it'll be great if you stay engaged, and as you learn in your careers, tell us what we can do to improve the experience and knowledge for the classes that come before you. And as you go forth in the world with your ideas, passion, and aspirations, remember you're ambassadors of the UVM Grossman School of Business. Bear in mind the essential values of humility, and you heard about humility from Ted. Intellectual curiosity, and again, this is something you heard from someone who strives to do this every day. Be curious and be humble. Integrity and responsibility. Before we move on, there's a few people we want to acknowledge. You know, you all have been working with Linda Kruger, Heather Garrow behind the scenes. So thank you, Linda and Heather, for all the support that you provide. But one person without whom this program cannot run and cannot exist, and she keeps it ticking behind scenes, is Liz Steele. So Liz. She keeps the program running. And she's also perfected over the years, I've noticed, the art of walking backward during the procession for the inauguration. What I would like the class to do now is to please stand up. Please stand up. Everyone, please stand up. And turn around and applaud your families and friends whose loving support brought you to this day. Thank you, families and friends and loved ones of our students. Please sit down. Thank you. So once again, congratulations for this achievement today. And the ceremony is over. When we are going to convene in the Keller Room in Ifshin Hall for the reception, the families and friends and our students. And please pick up a framed photograph of the class of 2021 during the reception. Once again, congratulations. I think the party is we are supposed to leave before. What's the order? Liz, you're the boss. Do you want to make an announcement?
So we do want to give everyone a chance to throw their hats up in the air and get a photo of it in the theater. So if the class could stay seated for now. We didn't coordinate this ahead of time. I meant to do it. Andy?
Yes.
Andy is ready. So if everyone stand up. Take off your caps. And we'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.